Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. We're going to take a quick look at Rose, and we usually look at Bitcoin first, but we're going to go ahead and worry about that a little bit later in a separate video. So just bear that in mind. This is mostly just specifically for Rose here today. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, love teaching people how to trade, so I hope you can learn a thing or two here today, and I have a trading community with that specific purpose in place, and obviously also a trading academy I'm rolling out with month end. So if you're interested in that, feel free to check that out. That'll be available through our website very soon. Presently available through Patreon as far as the community is concerned. Check that out. I actually send out signals for every trade that I take, and of course, help you learn to become better traders. Okay, so learn as much as you can here from this video if possible. We're going to look at the one-day chart first and work our way down, because with Rose, obviously we broke some all-time high recently, right? And if we could see this here on the chart, right around 46, if you round up 47 cents was the high for Rose. Now, we're obviously up around 56 cents almost at this point, testing some major key level Fibonacci retracement lines. So all good stuff here for Rose. In fact, it's done very, very well in the recent past. And we're going to go ahead and look at that. So obviously looking at the RSI, first of all, we're up over 70 potentially, and I say potentially because it just depends on where this one-day candlestick will close, but a lot of times when price can get above 70 and it's broke its all-time high, that can work as a support level, not a resistance, and it could continue to progress upwards. I've seen that happen quite a lot with previous coins, Solana, and a few others, of course. Once they break that all-time high, there's just this new territory that's getting discovered. It's in a state of discovery, and that can be an amazing thing. So the only thing that's keeping Rose from taking off right now is just this little bit of indecision with Bitcoin this week, and is it going to dump or is it going to increase? There's kind of a lot of speculation right now with that. So taking a look at the one day, we've got all bullish continuation signs. We can see a MACD convergence, and of course, RSI is up over 70. So all good stuff here for now with Rose on the macro. So the macro looks very good. Comes to the midterm here, we're looking at the 4-hour. We can see that the RSI, the RSI is up over 70, but coming back down. We'll touch on that in a moment, but what I want to speak about is just the moving averages and how they are working effectively as potential support levels. So keep in mind, as the moving averages increase, that kind of adds to the potential support. You can see the 200-day set moving average work as a very strong support level previously. 50 is known for that as well, so we'll see here soon if the 50 were to intersect with the price action, the price decides to want to retrace, we'll get that as potential support. Okay, so again, good stuff there. And to touch on the RSI once more, it is also up closer to 70. So RSI is kind of telling us that we're a bit on the oversold side, right? That being said, or correction, overbought, right? Basically meaning that it's overinflated, it's potentially going to come back down. The likelihood of that is actually fairly high. Oftentimes when you see an RSI up over 70 on the 4-hour, that can lead to a turnaround. But the key strategy is to ensure that you consider taking profits when the RSI is coming back down, not when it's going back up. So if the RSI crosses the plane of 70 and starts coming down below 70, that's a case in point where you might want to consider taking some profits. Me personally, being a profit taker, I certainly would do so if I had a position open right now, at least trim part of my position. Okay. Again, try not to get too stingy there because you never know truly how much higher it could go, but Rose is definitely on a tear and there's no reason for it to potentially slow down right now. It's giving us all bullish indications. Looking at the MACD as well, we also got a convergence recently with the potential for a bearish divergence here in the near future. Okay, so generally speaking, Rose is not in bad shape, but it is definitely a bit on the overextended side. Let's go and see what TD sequential tells us. We got a 9 here on TD sequential and a state of consolidation. In fact, that 9 hit right above the previous resistance, of course, which was right there at about 45.5. Came down to test that 4 or 5 candlesticks in a row and then continued upwards. So that's a really good sign that a coin's willing to continue to progress if you get a good state of consolidation right at a previous resistance level, especially a previous high that's essentially a very strong support level now, right? So just know 45.5 is a strong support if we do end up losing 50 or 55 cents as the next key level supports, okay? Also note too here, taking a quick look at the RSI, or correction, sorry, the actual resistance level, previous resistance, of course, here at about 52.3. If you look at 52.3, you can see it was tested about 12 to 16 hours in a row and then rejected and came back up. That's a very, very good sign that kind of fulfilled, I would say, the latter half of a handle pattern, right? So oftentimes when you see a price come up and test a major resistance level, come down and not even consider touching the previous support, that's a very good sign to see that it breaks. And it definitely broke through there. So that's a new support level here as well. So we got 52 and a key level support of 45.5. So 45.5 and 52 are both really good, strong supports. So ultimately, Rose is looking to be in very good shape because these previous all-time highs and the most recent high kind of gave us that strong foundation, so to speak. Okay. So very, very good stuff there for Rose. Let's take a quick look here while we're at it at the volume profile just before we move on. We can see there's a strong amount of volume around 27 cents. Obviously, that's when the price was consolidating. But we can see that it's looking pretty good here all in all. Because, yeah, there's a decent amount of volume here as well at about 38. So all in all, I like what I see here because it's a good foundation. It does imply we're kind of, well, not kind of, we're definitely on the overextended side, but we had a nice little consolidation here to help us kind of potentially increase. But just know if the price were to kind of retrace or come back down eventually, we're going to have a bit of a gap in that area, and that could be a potential problem. Again, not super huge, not a super big concern right now, but generally speaking, I don't love when we have significant gaps like that in volume and of course price. So taking a look here at the 1 hour, let's go ahead and see what's going on with the Ichimoku cloud, and we can see that we still have a buy signal here, or more importantly, just really not just a consideration not even bother to sell. Right? If we don't even bother to sell here with Rose, we're looking pretty good. So all in all, if you have a position open, the takeaway here is that you want to keep it open until we get any other signs otherwise. In other words, RSI being overextended is one thing, but on the 1 hour, if we got the actual Ichimoku cloud kind of telling us that we still want to keep our position open, then that's a good consideration. I would just recommend moving your stop loss up accordingly, depending on the type of position you have. If you have just say a shorter term position, you're only holding for a week or less, and absolutely continue to move up your support level or your stop loss to a support, which right in this range is again either 45.5 or 52. Depends on your risk tolerance, of course, right? So depending on that, you want to kind of consider that. But this Ichimoku cloud is basically giving us all good considerations to keep our position open. There's no reason to close it at this point in time. Okay. So that is a very, very good sign there. That basically tells us we have a good chance to continue to upwards. And if we were to continue upwards, just know, again, we're getting on the I wouldn't say overextended side, but we're on the second half, so to speak, of this continuation. So the likelihood of it coming up to about 70 cents is fairly high, but I would say that 70 cents is more likely going to happen within about a week or two based on its recent progression. And I'm saying that because of the fact we need to have a little bit more consolidation than just for one day. Okay, because 1 day of consolidation isn't terrible, but it's certainly not enough to be able to get another leg up, so to speak. And again, it depends on what happens with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin were to kind of just say rally to 46,000, break that key level resistance, then we'll see Rose continue to take off and hit 70 cents quite easy. Just bear that in mind. Okay. So all in all, looking pretty good here for Rose. I recommend absolutely considering adding to your position and keeping your position open if you have one. Just keep your stop loss high and make sure that you have your stop loss no lower than 45 cents or possibly even 52, depending on your risk tolerance. Okay. So hopefully you found benefit here, of course. Thank you so much for joining me. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day.